What if I told you that one of the most iconic players in NBA history was nearly erased by a bowling alley fight? That the same kid who would one day cross Michael Jordan almost didn't even finish high school? He was a generational talent, a walking bucket before Instagram knew what a bucket was. But before the chains, braids, and MVP chants, Allen Iverson was just a poor kid from a place they called Bad News, Virginia. Around here, you didn't survive by dreaming. One night, a bowling alley nearly became his last moment of freedom. This is not just basketball. This is about survival. This is about the fight that nearly ended the answer before the question was even asked. But that fight, that wasn't the hardest battle. Because next, we go to where Allen's legend was born. A place where if you didn't fight back, you disappeared. Hampton, Virginia. Locals didn't call it Bad News for fun. They called it that because it was survival of the fittest, and even the fittest barely made it out. Allen's mom, Ann, had him at 15. No dad, 3 jobs. Some nights, no dinner. But give that boy a football or a basketball and suddenly the noise disappeared. He didn't run from the struggle, he ran through it, and took state titles with him. Kid looked like Vic and Jordan had a child. By his senior year, Hampton didn't call him Allen anymore. They called him the Answer. But while Allen was building a legacy on the court, off it, one night at a bowling alley would blow everything up. Coming up, the injustice that almost took the Answer off the board for good. It was supposed to be a celebration, February 1993, just a few months before graduation. Iverson and his boys hit the local bowling alley after dominating on the court like they always did. But in Hampton, Virginia, even your wins can turn into war zones. Words were exchanged, push turned to punch, and in the blink of an eye, fists flew, bottles broke, and chaos exploded. A racial brawl had erupted. But here's where the story turns sideways. Only the black kids were arrested. And Iverson, he became the face of the fight, even though video footage couldn't place him throwing a single punch. No priors, no weapon, no evidence. But Allen Iverson was sentenced to 15 years in prison for maiming by mob. They threw a 17-year-old into Newport News jail like he was a gang leader, because the real issue wasn't the fight, it was the spotlight. They didn't want a poor black kid from Bad News being the new face of Virginia. He missed his senior season. College offers vanished. The same town that cheered him turned its back. But someone was still in his corner. Coming up, the woman who changed everything and the coach who saw beyond the headlines and opened the door to Allen's redemption. Allen Iverson was locked away, forgotten by the system that once called him the future. His mom, Ann Iverson, was drowning. Her son, her ticket out, was rotting behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. So she did what any mother with nothing left would do.
My mom went to Georgetown and begged him to give me a chance. And he did.
And knocked on the door of John Thompson, the legendary coach of the Georgetown Hoyas. The same man who mentored Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, giants, both literally and spiritually, and told him her son needed a second chance, not for basketball, for life. John listened, then he looked her in the eyes and said, "If I take him, I'll protect him like he's my own." Coach Thompson didn't care about the headlines. He saw the kid, not the case. And once Allen got his shot, he unleashed hell on college basketball. He wasn't just back, he was better. The Answer had a second chance, and he wasn't wasting it. But making it to the NBA wasn't a fairy tale, because when he got drafted, Iverson didn't just walk into the league, he kicked the damn door down. Allen Iverson steps onto the court in Philly, just 20 years old, baggy shorts, braids tight. The number 3 on his chest like a warning label. It's March 12, 1997, 14 days before my 15th birthday. Across from him, Michael Jordan, the GOAT, the Goliath. And on his right, the next giant in line was tired of bowing. The play starts simple. Iverson up top. MJ takes the assignment himself. You already know what happens next. The crowd lost it. The bench lost it. MJ, he just nodded. That crossover wasn't just a highlight, it was a generational shift. The league had never seen someone with Iverson's edge, and didn't know what to do with it, because Allen wasn't playing a character, he was the streets. He didn't show up to fit in, he showed up to take over. But the crossover, that was just the preview, because next, the league tried to humble him, and Allen Iverson had just one thing to say back. Practice? It's May 7th, 2002. Allen Iverson walks into a press conference, hoodie on, hat low, pain in his eyes. Reporters don't smell grief, they smell blood. And that's when the most misquoted, misunderstood moment in NBA history begins.
We're talking about practice, man.
But here's what they didn't tell you. Just 7 months before, Iverson had lost his best friend, Rashawn Langford, shot and killed back home. He was grieving, distraught. And that press conference, it wasn't about effort, it was about loss. AI wasn't clowning, he was breaking down. But the media chopped it up, turned it into a joke, turned him into a punchline. And just like that, the league painted him as immature. But fans, they saw a man holding back tears, still showing up. He didn't miss a playoff game. He didn't take a break. He played through everything. But if you thought the media was rough, wait till you see what the NBA did next. A dress code, a crackdown, and one rule that was practically built just to target him. By 2005, Allen Iverson wasn't just a player anymore. He was a culture shift. Cornrows, tattoos, chains, baggy sweats. He brought hip-hop straight into NBA arenas, and not everybody liked it. The league's image had always been clean, polished, corporate. Then came Iverson, and suddenly the NBA had a problem to fix. Today, we are instituting a new NBA dress code. Translation: no more jerseys, no hoodies, no AI. It was the first time a major sports league enforced a rule on how players dressed when they weren't even playing. Players didn't need a press release to get the message. This wasn't about fashion, it was about erasing the Iverson effect. They didn't say it out loud, but everyone knew who that rule was really for. And Allen, he didn't change. He just kept showing up, being the same unapologetic version of himself. They could ban clothes, but they couldn't ban his impact. The league tried to contain him, but next, Iverson leaves the NBA, and everything comes crashing down. 2006, Allen Iverson is still ballin', still dropping 30, still taking ankles. But behind the scenes, the league had moved on, and AI, the rebel, the original, the answer, was suddenly treated like the problem. The Sixers traded him to Denver, then it was Detroit, then Memphis. Team after team trying to plug in Iverson like a role player. He was never built for that. Critics called him selfish, said he couldn't adapt. But here's the thing, AI wasn't washed, he was wounded. The league had squeezed every drop of electricity out of him, then tossed him aside when he stopped dancing to their tune. He went overseas to play in Turkey, but it wasn't the same. This wasn't the answer. This was a man searching for one last shot. Just like that, the NBA's most iconic anti-hero was gone. No farewell tour, no jersey retirement, just silence. But don't get it twisted. You can bury a player, but not a legacy. Because next, Allen Iverson's comeback doesn't happen on the court. It happens at the Hall of Fame. By the mid-2010s, Allen Iverson was gone from the hardwood, but his fingerprints all over the league. He didn't leave a trail, he left drip to the blueprint. And in 2016, the world finally admitted what the culture already knew. Iverson steps up to the mic, his voice cracking, his eyes swollen, his suit fresh, but still him. He didn't cry for himself, he cried for his mother, his coach, his best friend Rashawn. He thanked Biggie, he thanked Jada Kiss, he thanked the struggle. That night, the hood made it to the hall. The misunderstood became immortal, the rebel became royalty. Allen Iverson never won a ring, but he won something deeper, the soul of a generation, the love of the culture. and a legacy that can't be measured in trophies. They tried to silence him, tried to shame him, tried to strip him of his place in history. But in the end, he didn't just survive, he thrived and became a legend.